Welcome to the Climaton Global Stage.
This very body is soil.
We are live
My
from
body,
Egypt.
your
This
body,
year we are hosted by the
everybody
Alexandra Library
is just
in Alexandria City.
soil body.
From this amazing location, we will connect with live Climaton makers all over the world. Yes, only this weekend.
Soil body. The magic of soil is it turns death into life. Depleted soils will not quench the fire of hunger. Unquenched hunger can burn the very world. This is a generational responsibility. Save soil. Let's make it happen.
Okay, so Shaifa, are we still waiting for others or restart?
I think we should just go for it. More people are joining, but we should go for it.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is David Oni, and I'm a facilitator for this session, talking about climate change. I am an entrepreneur. I have an agri business, planting bell peppers, and I also have a tech business in the digital signage industry. Yeah, so particularly for my agri business, I have faced a lot of challenges with regards to climate change, and that has spawned my interest in climate to understand, what is happening in the environment. And thus, I believe that I have some things I might share with you guys, and hopefully I would learn from you as well on how we can act more environmentally sustainable with our businesses and our lifestyle. So there's a presentation here that we're going to go through, and while we go through the presentation, we would interact and discuss the subject matter. And also, please know that the presentation will also be available to you guys. It was actually created for you guys so you can teach your students on the topic of climate change. So it would be nice to meet us as well. Maybe we can use that to wait a little longer. So briefly, just introduce yourself, your name, your school, and that's it. Please, when you're not speaking, mute your mic. Remember to mute your mic when you're not speaking. So the floor is yours, guys. Hello? Follow me.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is
Good afternoon.
Ojela Biolaide from Government Senior College, Ikoyi. I believe you can all hear me.
Welcome. Yes, we can hear you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Folami Olanewaju Isaac from Boys Junior Academy, Lagos Island.
You're welcome, sir. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, I'm Adedoyin Titilayo from Community Senior High School, Lekki.
You're welcome, Ms. Adedoyin. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
I'm
afternoon.
Ogula Lobuashi Adedoyin from Iweku Community High School, Lakwe.
You're welcome, man.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Tijani Abiodun Stephen from Lafayette Senior High School, Lagos Island.
You're welcome, sir, Mr. Abiodun.
Good afternoon, noble colleagues.
Good afternoon, sir.
From Okwaja Community Senior Secondary School.
You're welcome, sir. Please mute yourself if you're not speaking. Thank you. Good afternoon, Samsung.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Ademola Muide from Kingado Junior High School.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, maybe we have everybody's attention, but it would be
Good
good that.
afternoon, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Good afternoon. Hello, sir, Mr. Barua. We can't hear you.
Good afternoon. My name is Barua Sherif Olatunji, the Junior High School.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, anyways, everybody else, you guys can leave a message on the chat. You can introduce yourself there as well. I guess we should just continue with the presentation. So I'm going to share my screen now. Yeah, so as we go into the agenda today, first I want us to start with our experiences. What have we experienced recently that is an effect of climate change in our environment? I'll go first. Recently, about a week ago, it rained in Lagos and the wind was so powerful that it ripped off our roof. You know, now we are paying for a roof. And at the same time, simultaneously on the farm, the breeze also broke vegetables inside the greenhouse. So it was not even outside, inside the greenhouse, it's destroyed a lot of vegetables, which has affected our expected yield because we've lost a lot of flowers that are eventually going to turn to fruits. So that is something that has happened to me of recent, that is due to climate change. There is nothing I can do but react to the problems. Yeah, so you guys go on. What have you experienced lately that has to do with climate change? Hello? Sorry. Anybody? Can you guys hear me though?
Yes, you're clear.
Okay. So we've not been experiencing anything due to climate. Interesting. Maybe along the line, this can come back to our minds and we can speak on it. So this presentation is what the material you'll be using to teach your students. We're going to scale through it now. I am sure a number of us have already knowledge about climate change, one thing or the other. But the point of this class is that we have an overview of the whole issue, and we can also share thoughts. You know, there are things that I might not be thinking of that you guys already know, and at the same time, there are things that I might say that might be new to you as well. So this way we can brush up our memories and, you know, go to the classroom to impact knowledge. So the slides, I am going to just scale through it. It's not a read-only session. I want it to be as interactive as possible. So first is weather and climate. You know, what is weather? Weather is the measurement of the environmental conditions. It is either rain, precipitation, or the dryness of an area within a short period of time. So a day, a week. Today's weather was cool and sunny because it rained in the morning and now it's sunny. You know, yesterday was also very cool because it rained as well. You know, but climate is now the recording or measuring the weather for a period of time. So when you look at the weather of an area for a period of 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, you will now use that to say this is the climate of this environment. So where we are in the tropics, we know that it rains for X amount of months, it's sunny for X amount of months, and then there's Harmattan. That is the climate of our region, and that is based off on the observation of the weather pattern over a period of time in the past. Yeah. So difference between weather and climate. Weather is short-term observation. Climate is a long-term observation. So classification of Earth climate. There is the tropics, which is where we are. It is hot, humid, and extremely rainy. There is the dry climate, desert-like, which gets very little rainfall. These are in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Australia, and some part of Asia and America. There is a temperate region, which has mild winter and hot, wet, and often stormy summers. So we have areas in the US, Canada, where they experience heat, in Europe as well, and also snow. And then we have the continental climate, which is warm or cool summer and cold, sometimes very cold winters. So example, also in the US, is Russia, Canada, and the likes. And then we have the polar region. Polar region is all cold all year round. So here we have Alaska, we have the Arctic, Antarctica, and some parts of Siberia. So defining some of these terms constitute the weather is humidity. Humidity is the measure of water vapor content. Moisture is the liquid in form of small droplets, either in the air or in substance. There is pressure. This is a continuous physical force exerted on or against an object. So in this case of weather, pressure is coming from gravity, which pulls everything to the surface of the planet, and it varies from region to region based on the distance from our atmosphere. So some areas are higher, some areas are lower, and therefore the pressure varies. And the precipitation is the amount of water we get or snow in an area. And I don't know if people know that the rain that is falling here now in regions where it is very cold, because of the cold temperature, it is also rain that turns to snow. It freezes up in the atmosphere and falls down as snow. So it is just water. Snow is cold water, while rain is warm water. Then temperature is the measure of hotness and coldness in an area. As you can see, there will be evaluation after going through your class. You can just do a summary, and then you can give an exercise to your students, and then climate change. So the next lesson, the next lesson now, climate change. So I want to ask, we've discussed what weather and climate is. So I want someone to tell us, what is climate change? Hello? It's like I'm speaking to myself in this classroom.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We are here.
Okay, please, let's try to make this very interactive, actually. And it's very important because it's the only way we can enjoy the class if it's interactive. And also, I dropped an evaluation form on the chat box. You can fill it while you're still in class. It's a Google document. Just fill that. And I will also drop an attendance form a bit later. So please just make sure to fill those two forms. I'll remind everyone from time to time. So please, let's just try our best and answer. It would be very lovely. If it's interactive, you guys would enjoy it. Thank you.
So guys, we've said this now. You guys are teachers now. So we've already discussed what climate is, what weather is. So what is climate change? Well, I don't think I'll wait forever. So climate change, which I believe some of you know, I just don't understand why you're not engaging in this conversation, is the observable changes in the climate. So we already know that it rains in June, in May, in April, and then it stops raining. So the climate has changed. And that's what climate change is. The change in weather patterns that are irregular from what is expected. So here it says climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns. This shift may be natural, such as through variations in the solar cycle, but since the 1800s, human activities have been the main drivers of climate change, primarily due to burning of fossil fuel like coal, oil, and gas. Burning fossil fuel generates greenhouse gas emission that acts like a blanket wrapped around the earth, trapping the sun's heat and rising temperature. So climate change is thus, we understand the climate of this environment. We know what to expect, but now it is changing. Lagos State is getting hotter. Harmattan, when I was younger in Lagos, was freezing. In fact, the fog, sometimes for days, you won't be able to see anything. But now it is not like that. The climate is changing. That is what climate change is. So one of the things contributing to climate change is burning of fossil fuel. When we burn fossil fuel, we eject carbon dioxide, CO2, into the atmosphere. And this gas traps heat from the sun. So normally the Earth's surface should reflect it from itself. But when we have excess CO2 in the atmosphere, it traps the heat. And once heat is trapped and there is still more heat coming from the sun, then the planet warms faster. So these are examples. Our vehicles burn fuel. We are emitting CO2. We are cutting down trees. Deforestation is happening. We are emitting CO2. In fact, while we are cutting down the trees, the machineries we are using are emitting CO2. Then the trees that have the natural capacity, ability to convert CO2 into matter, into the wood and the fruits that we eat, now is gone. So the ability for for our forests to trap CO2 is reducing as we clear these lands. There is landfill. We regularly dump both plastic, degradable and non-degradable waste into our landfills, and the biodegradable waste would emit methane, and that affects the atmosphere as well. It's even more powerful than CO2 because it lasts longer in the atmosphere. So some of the industries that are producing emission is the energy industry, where we use coal to produce electricity. We use fuel and generator to produce electricity. We have factories, industries too, that are burning fossil fuel or using energy from this coal that has been generated already to process their goods. And at the same time, they also eject waste from their factories, waste water, waste material into the environment. Transportation, buildings, the production of cement produces a lot of emission. And we are always building, we are always buying concrete. Everybody's always building something. We will clear land, destroy forests, we will produce cement that is also emitting to build houses, you know. There's also agriculture. Agriculture is also a big emitter because we need to clear land to plant. We need to use fertilizers to grow our crops, which are being produced. And where they are being produced, we are also emitting CO2 as well. And then there is the animal dungs. Animal dungs produces methane. And even aside from the animal dungs, where we are keeping the animal too, we need to clear the land to use it. The feed we are feeding those animals, we need to clear land to plant them. So the agriculture industry is a big emitter of greenhouse gas. So I'm going to ask another question. So tell me, what are the effects of climate change? What are the things that happens as a result of climate change? For one example is drought. When climate changes, areas which gets an average level of rainfall will now get next to nothing, and then the area dries up. You know, when we deforestate when we cut down trees, deserts easily encroaches into land that were not deserts before. So this is an example of effects of climate change. Can you guys tell me one or two other effects of climate change?
Excessive temperature. Very high temperature.
Thank you very much, man. I wish I had sweets to give you right now because you're the first person to speak today. Thank you. All right. Any other one?
We can also have scarcity of certain species of food.
Yes, farming. Yes, you're correct. Because there is drought, the fertility of the soil has been reduced, so we can produce less food. Yes, you're correct, sir. Any other one?
Hello.
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 Hello, we can hear you.
Hello, good afternoon. What of the rising water temperature?
Rising water temperature, yes. Rising water temperature is also an effect because our planet is warming, right? And the ocean absorbs it. So because we are producing a lot of CO2 and it's trapping it into our atmosphere, then the ocean gets warmer. And this literally bleaches our coral reefs too as well.
Hello. What about wildfire?
Wildfire, yes.
Wildfire.
Yes, thank you very much. Wildfire are caused as a result of drought. So an area where there is forest normally, now there is well and everything is dry. Please, if you're not speaking, just mute your mic. Thank you. When an area is dry, then it is easy for fire to spread in the forest because there isn't water. The trees have low moisture content in them. Thank you very much. Wildfire is an example.
Acid rain.
Acid rain. Okay, please, can you explain to me what acid rain is? So I don't assume, sir. Hello? Well, yes, it is
Hello?
possible. I can hear you. I can hear you speak, sir.
No, I want to mention another effect too. No.
Oh, okay. You don't know how to prove that one. We are in the court of law. So
No, I'm not the one.
Oh, you're not the one. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me listen to you.
Okay, so when I said acid rain actually occurs when the CO2 gas gets trapped in the atmosphere. So when it rains, the what am I going to say now? The reaction between the CO2 and the atmospheric water, you understand, can fall rather in the form of acid rain, which can erode. It can be erosive and it can also kill some plants. So that's what we call acid rain.
All right. So I would not 100% accept that definition. But what I believe you're trying to say is there are some industries that part of their byproducts are materials that are airborne and they are acidic. So when those acidic content from those factories go into the atmosphere, and when it rains, then the water vapor would then pull that materials down onto the earth, and that can affect, yes, and can erode the soil and can affect biodiversity on the ground. So thank you very much, sir. Someone else wants to...
Yes, it can also, the effects, it can also cause heart disease.
Heart disease?
Yes.
Yeah, so health effects. I agree with you,
Yes.
sir. Health effects, yes. There are health effects to climate change, yes. Yeah,
Yes.
hello, who wants to speak? Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, I said, Jonathan, you asked someone to explain acid rain.
Yes.
So, can I explain what acid rain is?
Yeah, go ahead, please. Thank you. Do that, please.
Okay, acid rain is caused by pollution.
Yes, pollution, exactly.
When some gases are being released into the atmosphere,
yes,
like SO2. So by the time rain falls, they combine with water to form acid.
Acid rain, yes.
Yeah, and that's called acid, and it can affect farm produce as well as the building, paint on the building.
Thank you very much, man. You're correct. Yes, ma'am. Someone is trying to speak, and I've not. We can't hear you. Please, can you talk now? So that's great. Let's move on. Thank you for your contributions, and you're all correct. All of these are examples of climate change. There are more. I'm sure we'll discuss that as we move on. So drought. One of the effects too is when there is drought in an environment. Now, farmers in those environments don't have water to feed their livestock, don't have water for their crops, and so they are forced to migrate. And this is what we are experiencing with herdsmen in Nigeria, where herdsmen, cattle herders are moving from the north down to the south where it is still green, where there are grasses to feed their cows, and this creates conflicts. So that's one of the effects of climate change as well. And then there is flooding. Flooding is also a big one. Flooding is as a result of not properly planning our cities. So normally in the forest, when it rains, the soil will absorb water. But in our cities, we have paved road. There is road everywhere. There is tar roads everywhere. It is not permeable for water. In our compounds, we have used cement to cover all the surface of the soil. We are using interlocking stone. And then our drainage system does not have the capacity to handle a lot of water flow. Plus the fact that a lot of them have been blocked again by waste that we have poured into our drainage system. So these are the things that causes flood in our environment. And flooding is is something that has been occurring time after time in our country. So these are examples of times that flooding occurred. In 2012, rivers burst their banks and submerged vast lands in 30 of the 36 states in the country, killing over 400 people and displacing 1.3 million others. In 2019 too as well, 277,555 people were affected. In 2020, 2.3 million people were affected by flood. In fact, all of these are small. This in Pakistan last year, flooding occurred in Pakistan and displaced 33 million people. Imagine the population of Nigeria today and 33 million people don't have houses. I am sure they will come and sleep in front of your gates. You know, this is how powerful, you know, what we are playing with is. You know, when the earth is reacting to something, it doesn't care about anything. It does what it does. It is we that would feel the pain. And even as we speak about all this climate change and everything, it's not like we're going to destroy the earth. The earth is going to survive. The earth is older than everybody, it's billions of years old. So it can take another 2 million years to fix itself and, you know, continue. But human beings might not be able to survive that process. This is why it's very important for us to pay attention to the things that we are doing. And this is why it is crucial for you guys to pass this information across to, you know, young Nigerians and future business women and workers that can make changes for our environment. Causes of flooding in Nigeria, like we've already mentioned, poor infrastructure of road, poor or non-existing drainage system, poor waste management, unregulated urban expansion. People are building houses anywhere, opening shop anywhere. We just do as we like. And then when climate comes, it will do as it likes to, you know. So implementation of planning laws too. In Nigeria, Nigeria is a beautiful country on paper. We know how to write everything, but when it comes to enforcing law or doing the right thing, then that is where we will now start finding who to blame. Other effects are food crisis. Someone already mentioned that's great. You know, when there is less rain in an area, there is less food. When there's too much rain in another area, there will still be less food because too much water can also destroy plants and animals. And water scarcity. Water scarcity is a very, very huge problem because without water, there is no life. If there is excess water somewhere, we will know that at least we'll be living on top canoe and, you know, try to survive and adapt to the situation. But when there is no water at all, there is no solution, you know. And no matter how much money we spend on that beautiful city, that everything is like gold, if there is no water there, we would have to import water or everybody has to find somewhere else to go to. And these are things that people are experiencing. There are places in Nigeria today that people are drinking mud water that fell on the road. People who can take it and drink. That is how scarce water is in some environments. Loss of biodiversity. All of this activity, as we are claiming more land, clearing land, you know, we are not the only ones on Earth. Human beings are not the only one. There are also thousands of life forms, and as we know from biology, it is a cycle of life. We have systems, we have an ecosystem where one organism feeds on the other and the chain continues like that. What we call the food chain. So when we clear lands, we reduce the population of animals and insects. We will even now go ahead and still use chemicals to destroy them, to say we don't want them to eat our crops. We are reducing biodiversity in our environment, and that is already directly affecting us. Loss of livelihood. I already mentioned this. People have to move. When the River Niger, for example, has shrunk from its original size to 1/3 of its size, Fishermen don't have job anymore. Herdsmen don't have water to give to their cattle. They need to move. There's no grass to eat anymore. You know, these are things that are affecting people in this country. Conflict and migration as well. I mentioned this already. So, what role can young people play in reducing the negative impact of climate change? Before we go into this, I want us to discuss what are the solutions out there that we know of, you know, that get towards improving, to reducing the amount of CO2 we put into the atmosphere. What are the solutions that you know of, that you've heard of? Please, I would like to hear from you guys before I speak on this.
Hello.
Hello.
The roles that we can play in reducing climate change.
Yes.
One, we should reduce pollution. That is, there should be law guiding various type of pollution. Let's say, for instance, there shouldn't be burning of refuse. If at all refuse should be burnt, it should be in an incinerator. So we should stop that. Then also, those household products that has chlorofluorocarbon, such as air conditioner and freezer. So we should be there should be we should control, or there should be a reduction in the release of chlorofluorocarbon. That's by the way. Also, fuel that's being used by vehicle should be the one that have well treated, that will not affect release of gases into the atmosphere. And there should be reduction, like as was done in the past, that the number of cars that apply our highways are reduced. Like maybe those with odd numbers should come out in a particular day. Then those in the with the even numbers should come out in a particular day. So with that and some other things, I think there will be a reduction in the climate change. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Any other ideas? There are lots of ideas.
Okay, so I would say that we should all be advocates for the use of cleaner source of energy. For example, the solar energy, rather than using generators that emit fumes that can send CO2 to the atmosphere. Then we can also advocate. I'm still on clean energy for the solar use of energy as well. Even using methane gas, for cooking in the house, rather than just letting them pollute the environment. They can be converted into energy for cooking in households. They can be used also for industrial activities, just for as energy. For manufacturing and things like that. So we can all be advocates for clean energy. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. I will also be coming from the angle of proper drainage. Can you hear me, please?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, we can, but it's not so clear. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said another way of controlling the adverse effect of climate change is by having a proper drainage system. Now, it is obvious that many areas especially some rural areas in the part of Lagos, we discover that some of these houses, the roads are not, there are no proper drainage for some of these roads. And whenever it is rain, you will discover that the water on the road and the water in the gutter, everything will just, and before you know it, people will start throwing all sorts of things on the little space that the water ought to have passed. So I think if we can advocate that there should be a policy that will be made that people should stop dumping plastic and use plastics inside all this drainage, and areas without proper drainage, the community leaders in such areas should at least do something so that whenever there is rain or there is a big flow of water, the water will have an easy flow to the exact place. So that is my take on it.
Thank you very much, sir. The man that spoke at first said something about using methane for cooking. That is very, very interesting, because from the waste that we are putting out into our dump sites, it is very possible for us to have bio plants where we convert those waste into biogas that can be used to cook in our houses, can be used to generate electricity, and even the waste that comes of that is organic fertilizer that can be reused on our farmlands instead of synthetic fertilizers. So that is a very, very big one of solutions that are out there to solve the problem. And also the last speaker now mentioned laws. How can we have laws that protects the environment? Unfortunately, we already have those laws, a lot of them, but they are not being enforced. And people are not really talking about it. Why? Because the information is not widespread. As we are as a society, there are things we demand from our government. You know, we want better electoral processes. Those are the things that are on our mind now, right? So we need to come to a point where a lot of people are informed of the climate challenges that we face, and we can now force our government to actually act on the laws that are already existing, improve on those laws, you know, and enforce them. So what we are doing right here today is part of the solution. It is in the direction we need to go in. How I wish already all schools in Nigeria have climate classes that they are taking. That would, you know, inform everybody, because when the students are informed, they will inform their parents too as well. So any other idea?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, well, based on what is on ground, the ways by which you can reduce climate change. I think there was at some point in time there was a law that guide tree planting. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
So I think there was a time there was a law that was about planting of trees at every point in time because of the carbon dioxide being generated by a lot of vehicles that fly the highways and the industries that release their waste products into the atmosphere.
Yes, you're correct, sir. Tree planting is a big measure to combat climate change. Because tree planting is one of the easiest things we can do, and they are effective in absorbing carbon from the atmosphere. And even aside from carbon absorption, tree planting also helps to regulate the temperature in an environment. You will agree with me that when it's sunny, where you want to be is under the tree.
Yeah.
Because under the tree creates a microclimate, and that is why in the tropics here, where there is plenty sun, that is why we have rainforest as well. So every living thing in that space, you know, have adequate shading from the sun and its intensity. So tree planting is very, very important. Thank you. Any other idea?
All right.
Okay, so let me share some ideas with you on solutions for a greener environment. Someone already mentioned biogas, already mentioned solar panels to generate electricity. There is also wind energy. There is also wave energy. There is also geothermal energy, which is utilizing the temperature inside the Earth's crust to boil water to produce electricity. There is also nuclear energy, which is done through a process called fusion, where atoms are split and that reaction produces heat, and then that heat is used to generate electricity. There is also batteries. Batteries have come a long way for us to even be having electric cars today. So the advent of electric cars too is as a result of our efforts to reduce carbon emission. Also, recycling. A lot of the products we use are going into landfill. but those products can be repurposed, can be recycled, can be upcycled as well. Recycling is when you use plastic, for example, to recycle it and use it to produce another form of plastic. But upcycling is when you melt plastic and you use that plastic now to produce nylon, or you use it to produce sole for shoes. You are upcycling it into new products. So already we've extracted a lot from the planet. And instead of us to continue extracting, we need to improve on how we recycle our waste and not just send them into dump sites. So global warming. What is global warming? Global warming is the increase in the Earth's average temperature. Global warming is caused mainly by the rise in greenhouse gas from human activities and the land use change from deforestation and farming. So we discussed climate and weather. When we now look at the climatic change in different regions in the environment, we now sum that up as global warming. The planet is warming faster than it should. Global warming has presented another issue called climate change. So that's it. When there's global warming itself, that itself will now propagate more changes in the environment, because the entire planet now is warming. It will just send climate change, different patterns from left to right. I've never experienced rain that will come and carry the roof of my house since they gave birth to me, you know. But now it is here. You know, sometimes when you're in traffic, you know, in Lagos, even with your AC, you know, you are still feeling hot inside your vehicle, and that is because of the combined heat produced by all of the vehicles around, and the fact that there are no trees around to give shading to people on the road, people in the environment. So what are the causes of global warming? It is same as what causes climate change: excess carbon dioxide and methane in the atmosphere, pollutions in the atmosphere. You know, it traps the heat coming from the sun. Instead of the earth to reflect the heat, it traps it and creates more warming. So the top 10 causes of global warming are the use of fossil fuel like oil and gas, deforestation like we mentioned, human waste as a result of the amount of packaging used, and the short life cycle of products. We are always buying biscuit 15 naira, buy this one, everything, the wrapper, waste. Power plants that burn fossil fuel, for us to have electricity, not mainly in Nigeria here, because I am not aware of we using a lot of coal, but the Western world, they burn a lot of coal. You know, here in Nigeria, we burn a lot of petrol and diesel to power our businesses. All of this is adding up as well. Oil drilling too is a big factor, because when oil is being drilled, gas comes out of that process. That gas that is supposed to be used to power generators to produce electricity, Nigeria is putting touch on it and burning it. Every minute they are burning the gas. Right now, as we speak, the gas is burning, and they are adding to the emission in the atmosphere. Transportation and vehicle, we already know that. Overconsumption, our lifestyle, our habits. We go to church and pray for money so we can buy stuff. All the things that we are doing. God said we should go and populate the earth. We are having a lot of people. Everybody's buying and selling and buying. Over consumption is affecting the climate. Industrial farming. Industrial farming requires clearing a lot of land, producing chemicals that also destroy the land. And at the end of the day, even the foods that we are buying from them is less nutritious. So that's also affects also contributes to global warming and climate change. Industrialization. Industrialization is what has brought about everything. Industrialization is what has brought about overconsumption, because now we have the know-how and the machines to produce a lot of things to service the world. Now there is need, because of industrialization, there is need for fossil fuel, because we are producing cars, people need to go from point A to point B, and also overfishing. Overfishing is affecting our oceans in a big way. One is that we are fishing to consume. Our Titus is coming from the fish and a lot of other fishes. After we have harvested fish from the ocean to consume, we will now harvest again to feed our fishes, our catfish, to feed our chickens. There is fish meal inside the feed of our animals. So we are fishing the ocean in an unsustainable manner. So what can we do? What can I do? These are a list of things that we can do to improve and reduce carbon in our atmosphere. We use less water. These are things we need to tell our students and for them to communicate to their parents. Use less water. We drink tap water instead of bottled water. Before there was bottled water and pure water, we were all drinking tap water and everybody was fine. Today now, it is a symbol of status and money that you are drinking bottled water and destroying the earth. Use less paper. We are in the digital age. Any way for you to avoid using paper, we should always look at that. I hope that in the future, students can have tablets and come to school and don't need to carry notebooks all around. All their notes are already available for them to study. Let's walk or use bike more often. We know we have vehicles and it's very comfortable to use our vehicle to go to wherever we are going to, but there are some distances that are short trips that we can walk, 5 minutes walk. Let's choose to walk. One is it's saving the environment. Two is it also keeps us fit. It's a form of exercise as well. Ask parents to switch to LED bulbs. LED bulbs are energy efficient bulbs. They are better than all those yellow bulbs that will see 20 watts, 50 watts, 100 watts, where LED bulb will be 3 watts, 5 watts. So it is better we choose LED bulbs to reduce our energy consumption. Eat less meat and dairy. Like I mentioned, agriculture is a big emitter of greenhouse gas, and most especially meat. Our animals in their stomach, they break down the food they eat, they produce methane. When they excrete their dung, it also produces methane. Even feeding them itself, the food that we are feeding the animals, if human beings were eating it, we will not be producing as much greenhouse gas from the agriculture industry. Talking to friends and family. Let's spread the message across. That's what we are doing right now. That is your job right now, to inform your students. And then when they are interested and they are concerned about your teachings, they also give that information to people around them. Let's spread the message. Read up articles and follow up on news on climate change issues in your environment. It is important to be updated. It's not only political news that can affect us. Climatic news too can affect us. This year, Turkey experienced earthquake. There was a 60 seconds alarm warning before the earthquake started. That 60 seconds is not enough, but I'm very sure would have saved some lives for those that adhere to it. And so there is the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Let's improve our lifestyle by... Hello, please mute yourself if you are not on the call. If you are not speaking. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Feisha, please, can you mute everybody, please? Okay, let's just continue. So reduce, reuse, and recycle. Let's reduce the things we use, buy the things we need, reuse the things that we can reuse. When we are going to market, we should take our own bags with us and stop taking black nylon. When we use any of the things that we buy, let's look at the ones we can reuse. If you bought a jar of honey, after consuming the honey, that jar can be used to store nuts or store something else. Have the habit of reusing. Then recycling. First is we can put effort into sorting our waste. When we have our waste bin, we should put biodegradable waste in one part and put inorganic waste in another part. Because this makes it easy for recyclers to pick the things that they need from our waste. In fact, I heard that this is going to be a law very soon in Lagos, that everybody have to separate their waste to make it easier to process. Share information about global warming. Let's speak to people on social media. It might seem like a very boring session. It's when Davido is singing that everybody will see 1 million, 3 million views, right? But when they talk about climate change, maybe 1,000, 200,000 views, that's all. We need to be engaged. We need to understand how this affects us. We are soil body. If we don't take care of the soil, we cannot continue to live the way we are on earth. It is real. It is not God will come and solve the problem. We are experiencing climate change, and it can lead to human extinction on planet Earth. Start a recycling program at your school. So, and for this now, we would encourage students and teachers to look at small projects that can be done, to reuse plastic, to produce biogas. These are the things that we would look on the long run to give information on different kind of projects that can be carried out as a way of giving practical knowledge to students on how to recycle and repurpose waste in our environment. So, overpopulation and overconsumption. Sorry, not overpopulation, pollution and overconsumption. So at this junction, please, somebody just tell us what are the ways we are polluting the environment. I would like to know what are the different ways which the environment is being polluted.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, there are so many ways in which we pollute the environment. One is the dropping of litters, like all these pest bottles. Why we take, of course, we are so much, we are overpopulated, and so many people, even during the course of party, they drop or they litter around all these bottles, all these pest bottles and sachets, pure water. So it's one of the ways we pollute the environment.
Thank you very much. Any other one?
Hello.
Yes.
Well, going by our previous or residual knowledge of pollution, we know that our environments are being polluted from these angles. We have our water is being polluted. We have some of these companies that they do not have a proper way of disposing their waste. Some of their waste are being disposed to the water system. Our atmosphere is also polluted. We can see, like you have said, the vehicles, the polluted gas from the vehicles pollutes the atmosphere, and before you know it, it can degenerate into all forms of sicknesses and diseases. We have land is being polluted. You will see people applying all sorts of things, chemicals. You see some farmers applying chemicals in the applying and some chemicals to crops to make sure that the period of harvesting can be faster. So we have many ways that we have been guilty of polluting our environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I really do like your answer because you have mentioned all the main types of pollution, which is there is air pollution, there is land pollution, and water pollution. And one of the most devastating form of pollution in our country today is oil spillage. In Port Harcourt and the oil-rich states, there is something called soot, which is like a fume that is released into the atmosphere when they are extracting oil. If you walk in some areas, the way we are seeing dust on our windows that is brown like this, or inside our house, it is black dust that you'll be seeing. This is soot from the petrochemical industry. And this have adverse effects on people's health in that region. If fishermen would catch fish and open up the fish and they will see oil inside. In fact, the amount of fish in those areas too have reduced. Life expectancy in those areas is really reduced. So pollution is a very, very big issue in our environment. So as you can see, land pollution, there is air pollution as well. So as we are speaking about climate change, is it that it's only human beings that cause climate change? No. Climate change can occur naturally as well. But when climate change occurs naturally, in most cases, it will only affect a region. And in some cases, it might affect the whole earth. For example, there was a time called the Ice Age. And the Ice Age was caused by volcanic eruption. So when volcano erupts into the atmosphere, it would put dust and ashes into the atmosphere and block the sun from reaching the earth. And this would now make the earth cool and get colder. And then a lot of disease would spread, and there'll be famine. Nothing will grow because there is no sunlight for photosynthesis. So there are ways with which climate change can happen naturally. But the problem that we're having is that instead of the normal natural cause, it might take 100,000 years, it can take 1 million years before the earth would go through an event that will cause climate change. We human beings are now fast tracking everything. Almost everything we do has a climate effect. For us to think, for us to be here today and listening to each other, we need to eat. For us to eat, we need to plant. For us to plant, we need to do all those things that we discussed is happening in the agric industry. So there needs to be a paradigm shift. And the reason why our conversation today is important is because you guys are in charge of the mind of young Nigerians. And it is important to inspire them. So when they are making life decisions, when they want to start businesses, they are thinking about the environment. They put the environment alongside profit. So it is not only because I want to make money and I want to be rich. I need to be sure that I am taking good care of the environment and giving other human beings, even the unborn Nigerians and human beings, the opportunity to meet Earth and also thrive in it. So like we mentioned, water pollution, we know land pollution, air pollution as well. Many human activities lead to pollution and destruction of natural habitats. In fact, in my own view, all human activities lead to pollution. Overproduction and overconsumption. We have an habit of buy. It is our economy is based on buying, purchase. People can buy, then I can make money. And this is on steroid. Everybody's looking for money. And what they are looking for money for is to buy something. So along the line, I believe, because if we don't learn, by the time 4 billion people don't exist anymore because of climate change, we will start to learn and know how to improve our lifestyle, to use less, to buy less, to consume less. Normally, as a person, I don't eat much. In fact, if you come and visit me and you're waiting for me to, no, maybe if it's a short visit, I will give you food. But if you're staying with me for like a week and you're waiting for food to be ready, you'll be hungry, because me, I don't eat a lot. So one of my friends asked me one day, so why do you have this kind of eating habits? Is it that you're not hungry? And then I told him something. No matter how much food I eat today, I will be hungry tomorrow. So it is important to also watch what we eat and eat less. Eat to give yourself nutrition, not to overstress your system. Because food itself, when we eat, our body is working to break down that food. That's why sometimes when you eat, you just feel a little bit lazy, especially if it's a bar. And it has, entered every part of your body. You will now feel weak because your body is using energy to consume that food. So in fact, a lot of illness comes from eating too much. And that's why some people would preach intermittent fasting. Fasting helps the body. So we need to have the habit of consuming less. Anytime we're about to eat that stuff, after we've eaten, we still want to buy that thing. We should just think about the environment and also think about ourselves too and our health. Overpopulation. I want someone to tell me why overpopulation is an issue with regards to global warming. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So can someone tell me what they think? Why is overpopulation a problem when it comes to global warming and climate change?
Well, overpopulation is okay. Someone else to speak.
You can continue, please continue.
Okay, when it's just like for the last couple of years, Lagos has become overpopulated. And because it's overpopulated, there is need for more buildings, there is need for more food. So it's like people literally come to Lagos now, not necessarily to get better jobs, mostly, but they come because of the human factor. So that's it. When there is more population, like when there are more people in a certain place, the demand for everything becomes more. It becomes times 2. If you're supposed to provide for 100 people normally, now you're forced to provide for 1,000 people. See that you get to produce more food, more clothing, housing, and that is using up more space and more land and every of that. So that's exactly what overpopulation does.
Thank you very much. To stress on that, we human beings, to stay alive, we consume resources. We need to eat, we need to clothe ourselves, we need shelter. All of these things are resources that are finite. They can finish. Sand that we are using to build house can finish. Lime that we are using to produce cement, it can finish. So overpopulation is putting stress on the resource on Earth. The way Americans are living today, that is beautiful. Everybody wants to go to America. If everybody on Earth lives like Americans, we will need 7 Earths to be able to get the amount of resources to live like that. So it is very important for us to be mindful of population, and this starts with everybody. Don't have too many children. Even if you are rich and you want a big family, go and adopt those ones that don't have families already. It is important for us to be able to control the population of the world, because if we don't, we will our population alone in itself is enough to destroy everything. And like my colleague mentioned just now, overpopulation in major cities, it strains the public welfare system. Because of the population, there are less hospitals, then there are more people sick, and hospitals cannot even take those that are sick because of the population, to the point that people even need to buy bed space by themselves to be in the hospital. You see, these are issues from overpopulation. China had a policy of one child per family. This was because they were looking at, we are becoming too much. We are 1 billion people already. We need to improve and reduce the population in their country. So these are issues associated with overpopulation. So the link between population and climate change, that's exactly what we discussed now. Multiple factors contributing to climate change and multiple actions are needed to address it. The number of people on our planet is one of those factors. Every additional person increases carbon emission automatically. The rich far more than the poor, and increases the number of climate change victims. The poor far more than the rich. So what this means is rich people produce more emissions. Why? Because they have money to buy more stuff. Because they are not only driving cars, they have private jets too. And because of them now, one jet will fly from one place to the other and pollute the whole place, you know? And when the consequences come, it is poor people that are affected the most, because a rich man can see that my house in Lagos is being flooded and use chopper and go to UK or go to Jos and go and live. But the poor people there cannot do anything. So these are big issues that are happening in our society due to overpopulation. So reducing the number of people born is not a tendency for climate change, but it cuts future carbon emission. Once we reduce our population, the amount of emission projected into the future will reduce, because as people age and die, their emission stops there. And then there won't be more people that are young that will start being in their prime, earning money, buying a lot of things, doing a lot of things, and creating a lot of emission as well. Population growth must be addressed in all countries to tackle climate change. Exactly what we've been discussing. So, evaluation and assignments or classwork. Environmental sustainability. What is environmental sustainability? It is acting sustainably. In whatever we do, our business, our lifestyle, we need to think about the environment. This action I'm about to take, is it sustainable? That is what environmental sustainability is. So here, environmental sustainability is the responsibility to conserve natural resources and protect global ecosystem to support health and well-being now and in the future, because so many decisions that impact the environment are not felt immediately. So we'll be doing it now. I'll feel like everything is fine. And then heat wave will come, drought will come. Our actions in the past will now project climate issues in the future. So we need to communicate that to people, that we need to be conscious of the environment. We need to bring our awareness to the point where we know that the earth is our mother. The earth feeds us, clothes us, does everything for us. And if we are not concerned about the earth, it directly means we are not concerned about ourselves. So there was one seminar I was part of, and somebody said, I'm a programmer. So what can I do? How can I do anything about climate change? And then the part of the moderator said that, oh yeah, start eating codes now. Maybe you're a programmer. When you go home today, put some code inside the pot and stir it and eat code. Everybody that exists is going to be affected, is being affected currently by climate change. We need to drive in that point for people to understand that we are a part of life. And if we don't take care of our environment, it will not be able to accommodate us. But how can we help achieve sustainability? Clean water and sanitation, such as learning to avoid wasting water. Climate action, acting now to stop global warming. All of the things that we're discussing, one way or the other, let's do something. If all we can do is tell someone else about climate change, we have done something. You know, life on land, planting trees to help protect the environment. When we can, let's plant trees. When there's no space for trees, let's plant vegetables and foods, things that we eat. You know, that is also a solution. The difference between plants and trees is that trees have a long life. They can live for a very long time, and so they can absorb a lot of carbon over the period of their life, unlike vegetables that will only exist for a few months, and that's the end. But once we plant, we harvest and we plant again, these two can help with reduction of carbon emission in the atmosphere. Responsible consumption and production. Recycling items such as paper, plastic, glass, and aluminum. You know, reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce what we use, reuse it when we can, recycle them as well. Sustainable cities and communities. Biking, walking, and using of public transport. Public transport in Nigeria is not good, but let's try and use bikes. Let's buy bicycles. Let's walk to where we need to buy stuff. We don't have to burn fossil fuel every time to do everything. You know, we should not be in a dogma where we feel like because I'm rich, you know, I cannot be stressing. I need to do this. We need to think about the future. Those children that we have, that we claim to, you know, be providing for, we might realize we might be there or we might not be there to see. We might realize that all of our provision is in an attempt to destroy their future. So that's the end of the slide, you know. I am happy that at some point of this class, you know, some people gave some inputs, because I wanted to say it's like everybody just know everything and we don't really have to have this class in the first place. So this is an opportunity for us to now share thoughts. If you have any question, please ask your questions. If you have observation or contribution, please let's do this, you know, before we end this class today. Thank you.
Okay, so while we're waiting for questions, please, I've just seen 19 people on that attendance form. Please fill the attendance and fill the evaluation form. Yes, I'm going to submit I'm going to put a third evaluation form on, a second evaluation form actually on the group. That's after the class. So that's a post-training evaluation, because they want to understand what the difference it made. So also, while we're training the students, we're going to require a few things. I've said this before, but I'm saying it again now because there are more people now. But we're going to need pictures of the students while they're learning. We're going to need, and we can make a short video of say 30 seconds, 1 minute video of them learning. And then you can also a third one, attendance. Please, the attendance should go like on a piece of paper. It should have 3 columns: name of the students, gender, and the class they're from. Yes. And at the end, you can take pictures of it and just send it to me directly with the video and the pictures for each class. So also, we would need something like a class monitor for the classes. So it has to be a boy and a girl for either the monitor and the assistant or the president and the assistants. Whatever name you guys decide to call it, it's totally fine. But 2 people representing the students that are learning, a boy and a girl. And I don't know. Okay, so let me just say this. So at the end of the training, there is going to be an essay competition where the students get to participate, and the winners, obviously, there is a cash prize for the winners. So the students are going to participate in that essay competition, and hopefully you'll be helping them with it. I don't know how that's going to work with your school. So yes, and the essay competition is per school. So it's not actually students, so it's per school, actually. That's where it comes in. You're the teachers, you get to know how that would work. It would be nice if you support them. Also, students can send in, they can also submit poems, videos, like see the one of the music video we watched, the one you're talking about, Soil Body, that one, that's also like a video presentation that students can also do. So they can send in a video presentation, send in poems, as well as write-ups, any of these things. So these are activities to actually engage the students. Okay, so that's just basically the announcement that I want to make. So we're still in class, so you can bring in your questions now.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Ibrahim.
Yeah, sorry. Based on what she just said now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so what she's just trying to tell us now is that we should organize a class for our students. How many number? Do we require a maximum number of students, or just will you give us number of students we should have a class with all of them?
So you can have 100 students, right, per school.
Okay.
But if your school, if you guys have more than 100 students, that's actually totally fine. That's totally fine as well.
Okay. So the video, sorry, another question. The video you said, the 1-minute video, can we actually do a video on the assembly, or it must actually be in a class, because 100 students cannot contain a class? So I have to take them on climate change.
Okay, so the thing is, you might not necessarily need to have 100 students in one sitting, right? In one sitting of the class. So that's it. I mean, you should have like up to 3 classes, right? About 3 classes. So it's just accumulated number.
Okay. All right, no problem. Thank you.
Good evening once again.
Good evening, sir.
Can you hear me? Firstly, I want to appreciate, I really want to appreciate the organizer of this platform, of this program. It's indeed it's impactful. It's an eye-opener to some things that we were not even thinking in line with. So I actually, some of the areas that we really need to touch have been touched. So my comment will just come in form of like I want to solicit if something like this can continue. Maybe I don't know how we want to have it. Maybe once in 3 months, or all right, maybe once in 3 months. I don't know, because from some of the things that we have been exposed to in today's training, we discovered that everybody needs to stand up to these tasks, because if care is not taken indeed, we are going to be faced with many environmental issues. Now, we can see the instances of what is happening in other developed nations, that they are even ahead of our dear nation, Nigeria. And if these people that are developed in terms of technology and in terms of other way, they are also battling with the adverse effect of the misuse of their environment, I think it's a clarion call for everybody in this side of the world to stand up to this task. So I think we also need to, I don't know, so that is just my take on it. So once again, we
thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. And that's the purpose of this training we are having, is we also acting, saying, let's do something. Let's not just complain. So let's get the children to know too. Let's get Nigerians concerned. So we can start to demand it from our leaders to say, you cannot do this anymore. You cannot do that anymore. Because now we know. If we don't know what to ask for or to want. We don't know anything. If you don't know, if you're in ignorance, there is nothing. We just think life is beautiful. You know, but when we are informed, when the society is informed, then we can make demands, you know, to improve our environment.
Another thing, like Ms. Ani said, our attitude towards things is very important. Very important. There's so many Nigerians that when they were in this country, they don't take recycling as anything. They just trash things the way they like. Fast forward today, they relocated out of the country. And I know one personally. This is someone who would refuse to recycle, even though she drinks bottled water and she buys in packs. Like that's what she drinks every single day. She will just throw it in her trash. I told her countless times, relocating to the UK now, that's what she got a dustbin because it is not allowed where she is in London. So she has to put the bottles separately. She has to put the other pack separately. That's one problem with Nigerians. We don't have to wait for a law to tell us that you're not supposed to do this, or if you do this, you'll be fined. We are human beings. Like, what is separating us from animals? I'm pretty sure that even animals, they have a certain way they behave, right? Like they communicate within themselves. It's so strange that human beings, like when we go somewhere that there are rules and certain fines are attached, we start to behave properly. No, the earth isn't looking at anybody's face. See, if earth decides to, the thing is, earth will eventually heal itself. Take the COVID-19, when it came and there was a stop, like everything stopped. The earth healed itself. Shockingly, it healed itself in just how long was that? It wasn't even up to a year that cars stopped moving, everything stopped working. The eyes that will happen, it will do things, it will get rid of everybody and it will heal itself. Ever seen a building that was abandoned and you go there after 10 years, you see grass has grown everywhere. It's as if it will grow and it will cover that place. We don't have to wait for government to give us rules that, oh, you must do this, there must be a fine. No, let's just start. You can start by putting a bag in your house, put all the plastic. Funny enough, you don't know how much plastic you use. I realized how much I use when I started recycling in my house as well. I was shocked at how much I was throwing in the trash. So let's not wait for that. Like that is something we can start on our own. Just that consciousness. I've met young people that they ask me, literally, one was like, why do we even need trees? I'm like, did you seriously just ask why we need trees? Trees taking the CO2. We breathe oxygen. They give that back to us. And then you're asking why we need trees. No, we need trees. We actually do. But that's the thing. People spend so many hours on social media, but they're not looking at anything concerning climate change. But if we can engage these conversations, then like Ms. Ani said rightfully, we can request for more. Realtor firms are just doing nonsense all around this Lagos. They are just buying everywhere, clearing everywhere and developing, building detached duplex for 70 million, 75 million, and they'll put artificial carpet grass there. And I'm wondering, look at how people are literally using their money to kill themselves. They'll tell you it's an ecosystem. Where are the grass? Where is the green? There is no green. Then they'll create one small park at the center. That's the eco garden. Over 400 square meters, no green. And that's eco garden. If you really want to know just how bad Lagos is, the next time you're taking a trip out of Lagos, just observe the oxygen in any of the other cities that are not crowded. You would see the difference. You'll be shocked. We need to start doing things. We need to start doing the right thing now because it's actually getting worse by the day. It's getting worse. And these people in power, they don't care. They will carry the when everything starts. They have, some of them, they have a multiple, what do they call that thing? That they have dual citizenship. They will take their families out. But that's what they don't understand. When the earth decides to do what it wants to do, no place to be safe. But well, the very rich people can always go and stay in Mars. That's how human beings are. We'll destroy the earth we have, then we'll go and stay on Mars that has no green. So let's just start with the little that we can do, and we can help from there. Awareness, very important. Engage the conversation, very important. When our figures rise, we can request for more, we can get more people to partner. And just like you said rightfully, in fact, this should even be something in the curriculum, not something that a company should be coming to do. This is something that is supposed to be in our education system, but it is not there. It is not there. We literally have to organize this event back to back. It's quite sad. But this, at least this is something. We have moved from the stage of not knowing to a stage of knowing. It's progress, and we'll get there. So I just want to encourage everyone, put in the effort, put in the word. You don't necessarily you can just be engaging someone that will just tell you something that it's not everything that is spiritual attack. The oxygen is bad. It's not Satan that is doing it. Things are the plants are the food is not nutritious again. It's our own things that we are not taking responsibility for. Let us start from there. Let's hold ourselves accountable. If you see someone, a student trying to litter something, tell the child, put it in the right place. It's just as simple as that. It might not be much, but that little thing is doing something. Who wants to learn will eventually learn. That's just a simple truth. So let's try our best and help our planet. We only have one. Okay. So we're waiting. Do you say okay? Someone has a question. Someone wants to talk.
Good afternoon, ma.
Okay, good afternoon. We can hear you.
Thank you, ma. I want to add a point to what you've just said, ma. Can't we advise the government to have a jingle, ma, or something like this for the masses generally, apart from the students, the less educated ones, and even we have polluted with a lot of people that will go here and there. Thank you, ma.
Okay, so see, that's exactly what I was talking about. So the whole idea of this thing is not to just stay in secondary school. We want it to go further. But since we're coming through the education sector, now when we reach out to them to write requests for anything, they always want to see progress reports. See, that's why we're having this evaluation forms. So this is why we're having all of this evaluation and we're having all of this events. So when we are going to them and we're telling them, oh, Lagos State government, we need you to do something, we need you to invest in climate change and stuff. They want to know, like, they don't want to just throw money into, they'll be like, I mean, they want to see something. So we now have proof that, okay, this is proof, this is things that we've done, this is results. So when we give them results, it's always easier for them. If you don't have results, it's always hard to convince them to do anything. They always want to see progress. When they see progress, then they'll put their mouth. So that's why we need people to engage it. We need people to engage it. When we have schools advocating, we can come up and we have schools and we have other bodies joining mouth together. From there, it's going to beat up. So when we are going, we're not just going empty-handed and just like, I think people have tried, people have written things, it is ending up in the dustbin. So we have to build something that they cannot turn their face from. That's the whole idea of what we're doing. They cannot ignore the results. So that's where we're going. Because I think in the training we had with District 3, they were talking about, I don't know if anybody from here experienced it, they were talking about it at the time of Fashola. They were having events like this where they were engaging the school, the student. I think they had a club, they called it the Green Club or something like that. I don't know if any teachers from here knows about it, but people from that district were saying that, yes, in Fashola's time, that things were happening, they were planting trees and they were contributing, but it all stopped all of a sudden. So that's what we want to, let us revive it. That's the whole idea. It has to be everybody, not just students. Everybody has to be aware. Thank you so much. Yes, we can hear you.
Hello? All right.
We can hear you.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. I want to add something. No, I don't know how possible it's going to be yet. Can can you like come, I don't know, maybe you have done that before, maybe go to those schools, those registered schools that are under you. Maybe your team can come around, let the students even see that it's not just going to be their teachers that will actually be teaching them on climate change or stuff like this. So maybe when your team come around, they'll see you, so that when you actually talk to them, they will understand what it is that the climate itself is changing, and it has gone beyond even their schools and their environment. So maybe some of them can change actually from it, because when they see that it's just their teachers that they are familiar with that comes around to come and explain these things today, they might not actually take it seriously the way you're actually putting it like this on this part, this program like this.
So for this, what is possible is that aside from you guys just reading in the classroom, you can also see if it's possible. Do you have projectors? Is there a computer? We can use that as a medium to give a session during your class and give a session to your class, just the way we are doing right now to you guys, and we can also give you materials, videos, and different tools that can explain even further to them, about the subject matter. So it is possible. Because of the size of our team and the amount of schools out there, it will not be economical to go all around to visit schools, but we can still try and use technology to still pass that same message across. So I think that's something that is possible.
All right, no problem. Then that's going to be fine then. So probably you can, how do you communicate with us so that we can get the material, so that at least we know when we want to say it, pass across to the students?
Oh, you're on the WhatsApp group, right?
Yes, I'm on the WhatsApp group.
Okay, so the video, the slide will be shared on the WhatsApp group. I will also convert the video recording to YouTube video, and then I'll paste them also on the WhatsApp group so that you have access to it. And yes, we're going to have tree planting activities and recycling activities. We will not be able to go to all schools because for this particular one, we're dealing with 100 schools. That is a lot of schools. And we don't have nearly the amount of support we need. So we're actually stretching. That's what we're doing. We are stretching. So we're going to some schools. We're going to go to some schools for tree planting, which is why I said I would actually drop a Google document on. I'll drop a Google document on the WhatsApp group. So for those, like if your school has space that can take tree, just put it there. Not that we're going to be visiting all of them, but it will still help us to streamline the schools that already have space for it. And also we're actually thinking of doing a recycling activity as well. Now for the tree planting, I'll definitely be there in person. And for the recycling as well, I'll also be there in person. So that's why we cannot go everywhere. But yes, so I'm going to just drop, when I prepare the document and put on the group, you can also signify if your school has space for tree. Just if your school has space for tree, just write the name of the school and I'll know that, okay, this school has space. So it will help us to streamline as well.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Oh, okay. I will send the second. So the second evaluation form is for after the training. So I just wanted to wait. So after the training, since we had 2 sections today, I'll put it on the WhatsApp group at once so everybody can just fill it from there. As long as you fill the first one, it's okay. I'll just paste the second one there as well too. But please, everybody, fill in your attendance, and yes, that's how we will know. We will have everybody's contact to send the data to. So please fill the attendance. So any more questions? The floor is still open. Suggestions, anything. So you guys can, Mr. Oni, could you share the link of that video on the chat?
Please.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I will.
I want to know when should the program start?
Okay, so the first training should start on Wednesday.
This coming week?
Yes. But if you, I know that some teachers are not available for that Wednesday. So if your own school, there is no time for Wednesday, you can put it on another day of the week, or you can move it till the next week. But it's just valid to have at least 3 classes, minimum.
3 classes to complete the session, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.